everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gopal, would you lead us, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. We ask for peace in the warring countries. Bless the sick, the injured, and those who have passed as we pray for an end to the conflicts that exist today. And as always, we ask these things in your most holy name. Amen.
Just want to remind the board that the flag is here.
Found that out just now.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mark, as always, thank you so much for the opening prayer. Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Lorraine.
Present.
Reed.
Here.
Patrick.
Present.
Kruger's present. Kessler.
Here.
Gopal.
Here.
Tucker.
Present.
You have a full board present.
Thanks, Bob. All right. I'd also like to note for the record that our operations manager, Tom Broker, our fire chief, Ryan Bolts, and
Assessor.
yes, our assessor, Julia Wilson, are also present. And did you say that Zoom is down, or?
According to Randon, if people log in, they'll be able to hear, they won't be able to see anything.
Doesn't look like anybody's logged in,
No,
so
there's no other
usually
participants
our
on.
township engineers.
I texted Alan and Melissa to let them know, so
Okay.
you should be all right.
All right. Since we have no feed tonight for Zoom, we'll just move forward without going over the procedures, you think?
I think
For
we're fine.
Zoom? All right, first order of business is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
Moved.
Support.
Motion's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crowe, will you please call the roll?
Yes. I vote yes. Patrick.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, agenda stands approved as presented. Moving on to the next business in order is the meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the meeting minutes of the April 19th regular meeting and also the April 25th special meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes?
There are none for what we have, but just to let everybody know, I did have Tom do a minor correction in the part where I was running my mouth too long. We're talking about the planning commission stuff. There was a phrase that I thought was inaccurate, so we pulled it out.
Okay, but it's
But the
corrected now?
The copy you have it's already wrong. Just make you aware of that change.
All right.
In case you read it last time.
Anything else? So Rolly, there's hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Next business in order is expenditures. Are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices? Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $751,991.66 for payment.
So moved.
Support.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you call the roll?
Reed.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Krug votes yes. Patrick.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, expenditures stand approved as presented. Moving on to public hearings. Tonight we have none. Next business in order is reports. Are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to communications. We have the GCDC WWS public hearing. I'm confident that all of you have noticed and read the notice in our packets. The notice relates to Phase 2 and Phase 3 of the water project. The hearing is a requirement to be eligible for financing through the State Drinking Water Revolving Fund, or the DWRF. And Tom, could you just expand on that just a little bit?
Yeah, the Genesee County will be conducting this public hearing. It's in this room on the 19th at 5:30. And as the supervisor indicated, it is a requirement to maintain eligibility for funding through the Drinking Water Revolving Fund in case that ends up being an option that we use to finance parts of the project. So, you know, the board is certainly welcome to attend, but not required. required, and, I don't expect it to last terribly long, but it'll be here.
And again, just, it's the county that's holding the meeting, correct?
Correct.
Just to let everyone know, all right? Any questions? Not?
Glad you said phase 2 and 3, because I read the descriptions and it's like, what? That's not where it's going. Now I understand, so blame me.
Yes. All right, moving on to the next business in order is adoption of ordinances. This evening we have none. Moving on to unfinished business, none. The next order of business is new business. We have the GCRC local road agreement, North Long Lake Road. I'm sure you reviewed the agreement in your packet. The board approved the cost estimate at the last meeting. This agreement is just the next step in that process. Tom, is there anything else you'd like to add? I really...
No, it's just the 53,000 is our share of the contract, even though it says 67, because the engineering and the inspection will be provided by the road commission without charging us, so. And I think they actually break it down that way in the cost sharing part. And the engineer that gave us the numbers feels that those were conservative, and he's hopeful that it'll actually be less.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, I need a motion to approve the local road agreement with the Genesee County Road Commission for the paving of the shoulder on a portion of North Long Lake Road as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Krug votes yes. Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business, proposed amendments to 2022 Fenton Township budget. Operations Manager Brokley will review.
Yes, this time I included a memo with the highlights rather than just reading through them off the spreadsheets, so I hopefully you've had a chance to review that.
I like the memo. That made it a lot easier.
Thank you.
Good. So in the general fund, we're looking at a net increase of about 110,000. The biggest items in there, revenue sharing is being increased, the budget by 250,000. Part of that is the retroactive payments we received at the end of April for the census increase that was retroactive back to October of 2020. Normally that gets done much sooner, so they owed us a lot more back pay, so to speak. 10,000 in the elections area, because of the redistricting, all of our voters will get new voter ID cards. So that, the cost of printing and postage is increased there.
Do we get any money from our friends from Lansing for that or not?
No, that's every 10-year expense we have to plan on.
Okay.
And in our case, our precincts are not changing, but both of our state district numbers and our congressional district number all changed. The only one that didn't change was our county commission district of 06. And then the one increase, the 150,000 for the Cottage Cove seawall, it's misleading because that's a special assessment project, but we do have to recognize the actual construction cost as expense. As we collect the special assessments, those will be recognized as revenue. So even with that 150 thrown in there, we're still projecting an increase to the bottom line of 110. Most other changes are just reflecting actuals. The sewer fund, we did reduce the utility staking expense based on the new contract. But we're still showing, even with the increase from the county that went into effect on January 1st, we are still projecting a positive cash flow for this year, because that rate increase for the third time was not passed on to the users. And then we did actually set up our water fund and move 400,000 of our ARPA money into it to cover the bill from the county for engineering costs for phase 1. So those are the major changes. Be happy to answer any other questions you might have, but I would recommend adopting the amendments.
Going back to the general fund, Tom, given that 150 is a special assessment, does that mean that the true net effect is gonna be an increase of 260? Or is that,
Well,
is the money from the residents already taken into account as income?
well, because the revenue to pay that back will come over the next few years.
Okay.
Because we'll get a few of them probably will pay off completely, but not all of them. So it will be, you know, an increase to expense for this year, but it'll result in some bumps in revenue in the next several years.
But to the extent somebody writes the full check, it won't be a full 150 of expense, right?
No, I think we've had one person pay off already, and there may be, I would expect no more than 2 or 3 more at the most
Okay.
out of, I can't remember how many there were, but.
Right.
So we're absorbing the majority of the cost for this year, but it will be paid back and we're earning interest on it as
Right.
well. Interest.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments from the board? All right, I need a motion to adopt amendments to the 2022 Fenton Township budget as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, it will, and you're going too fast, so go, Paul,
Yes.
Tucker,
Oh, yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
Krug votes yes, Reed,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
motion passes.
You got money on 6:45, Bob, or what?
He does.
Against it, he took the short, or the over.
Just like the Kentucky Derby.
Good odds.
The next business order is board comments. Is there anyone on the board who has additional comments or concerns? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the next business order, which is public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. We'll now open up the meeting for public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. First, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Yes, would you come up to the mic if you don't mind, please? State your name.
Mike Kenyek, K-A-N-Y-A-K. Just 2 questions. Want to follow up on the special meeting from the 25th. As far as if there's going to be a notice of when the next meeting will be held. I know there were some open issues that were discussed, and just wondering if the community that meeting's going to be.
Mean when it will be presented to the board for a vote?
That, or if there's some additional discussion. I mean, we were talking about the width of the pathway and all that stuff. They were supposed to get back with the pricing of going on the north side of the road versus south side. Didn't know if we were gonna have a discussion about that prior to the vote.
Actually, we were considering putting it on the agenda for this evening. I made a decision, advised our operations manager, Tom Broker, that we were going to hold off for another 2 weeks to find out. I know that there was about 6 properties that were still unresolved, and we were hoping, and Tom, you did get a hold of Ed, correct? And reached out to Ed and asked told him he had another couple of weeks to resolve those issues.
Okay.
Before it came back to the board, but there's not another meeting like the one that was on the 25th. That was the meeting
Okay.
for input, but it will probably come up in front of this board at the next scheduled meeting,
Next
which is
meeting.
on 24th.
Okay. And then secondly, since the meeting minutes were approved tonight, are those going to be available on the township website then for review? Okay.
Should be, what time do they usually get them posted, Tom?
Next couple of days they'll be out.
Okay.
About 48 hours.
That's fine.
Package
Yep.
out there already? The
Yeah,
board meeting
actually, the
package?
packet is out there with the minutes.
You can
Yeah.
see them right now.
Oh, can you?
Yeah,
Okay.
Just look at the board
Public
package
information
for
packet.
tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Just to warn you, when we do special meetings, which we used to refer to as workshop meetings, there's not the level of detail in the minutes. It's generally time, who's there, who's not there, who spoke, generally what topics were discussed, not
Not the details?
a lot of detail.
Okay.
When it's meetings where we're not taking action.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I had.
Oh,
Thank you.
All right, Mike. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board?
There was somebody up for just a minute on the Zoom. I don't know if we,
All right, we'll move on. Is there anyone that has joined us tonight via Zoom that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? And again, Tom, I can't see if there's
Nope.
anybody out there.
Somebody's moving the cursor, is that you, Tom?
Yeah.
It was just
No, we
the
have no,
gentleman's
there are
face.
no participants other than
Okay.
the township.
All right. So there's no one else either present or joining us via Zoom that would like to address the board on agenda, non-agenda items. There's nothing else. If there's no other public comment, hearing none, it is now,
Yeah, it's
6:46.
It's the over.
There's nothing else. I say good night and the meeting's adjourned.
Bob, you did it.
It was totally fixed.